Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Angela. So lovely to have you here. How have you guys been? I hope you guys are all well. It's not too cold. It's not quite spring here yet, but we're still hoping. All right, so today I'm going to bring you the first little episode in our reference journal and what we're going to put in here for our exciting envelopes. I am really excited to get going with this. Sorry, I have made the first one and it really has just spurred me on. I just want to carry on now. So I've got the bug. I hope that you guys are excited too, and I've seen some wonderful comments that you've left in this regard. Just wanted to say, for those people who might not have access to the actual ring binder or lever arch file as we call them here, you can use any folder or binder or file. All right, so it could just have the 3 rings like you have apparently in America, those areas. You might have the D rings, so those rings that are shaped like Ds. It doesn't really matter. Have a look at whatever you have and do that. In the worst case scenario, you can just make a folder like this from cereal boxes and bind in your pages. That would work as well. All right, so don't be feeling that you can't carry on and join us. I'm very excited and I'm hoping that you are going to be very inspired to follow along each week. All right, so I am going to bring in one episode of this each week, and the other video that I sort of post in the week will be something else. All right, so we'll look at a couple of different projects. Okay, so there we go. That's the front, and that's how we left the cover last week. And if you open up here, you'll see, sorry, croaky throat. I hope that's all in frame. You can have a look here and see that I have now got my first little addition stuck down in here. And I'm very happy with how this turned out, and I'm going to show you what I did today. I've made a few tweaks on it, little bits here and there. But what I've done is I have put on a title. So I've named it Exciting Envelopes Number 1. And what I've done there is, if I can find my papers, I've just made a whole list of these in like that so that I can mark them so I know which video is what. And that's really been quite helpful. I thought I just finished it off there like that. Okay, so we've got that one there. As I mentioned to you, I have punched it because this is the punch that fits with this. So that's easily done. Taken scraps and just bound this. This is really firm on the end. Just a reminder that this is, for me, 160 GSM paper. I've printed my printable here, so it's tea stained, but it's digital. All right, so that is in my shop, along with this backing here, which is part of the same kit. All right, so I've used 160 GSS SM, can't speak today, too many lessons this morning. And then of course, if you're wanting to know what that equates to, that's 60 pound weight in the Americas. All right, so I took one, folded it in half, both on back side, backed it up so it's double thickness. I've put another, this is really thick because I've now doubled up as I showed you in the video, and this is not going to go or break or anything like that. All right, you've got 2 layers of 160 here, and you've got an edge that's double folded as well, so it's really nice and firm and going to last a while. Then I just stuck on a piece of vellum on the bottom here like that. When I've finished the other side, I possibly might stitch around the edge, but it's stuck down, it's not going to go anywhere. I've just popped in this little tag. I've written the details down for my envelope, so if I want to go and make one, I know the name of it, I know the kits that I've used, I know the template I've used to make this, the wording, where it comes from, so this kind of thing, and anything else that I've used on here. All right, so that's, you can write it on the paper as well. I've just taken a tag, probably going to slide it in either the back here or something like that. That's the details for my envelope. All right, so let me just take this out the way. I'll bring this bit back. So let me just show you again a little reminder of what exciting envelope one looks like. So we've got a little paper clip here. I'll show you how to do that at the end. I've got a little label I've stuck on there. I have used my very old 1946 typewriter to type out words, and I did make one to show you. It is a printable if you want it. It looks like that, and I have used words from here, and I've got little sayings. I use this a lot. This is something I made for myself, so I use this constantly. I like the old vintage type. It's a genuine vintage typewriter. Okay, that along with this will be a printable in my shop, so I'll put them both together. So the other one's just a little freebie that goes with it. All right, so that's what I've used for the wording here. I've got a little stamp. I hope you can see that. Just sort of picked up the colors I had in this paper. That one's from Calico Collage. I think it's called Grandma's Garden, so I wrote that on my tag. Then we've got a little window here with acetate. I've cut out using a die cut, and ladies, please use a die cut that you have. All right, a metal die that you have. You can use circles. I don't have a straight square one, so I just used the one I had. But whatever you have. You also don't have to put a window in here, but if you want to, just use something you have. If you don't have a die cut machine or a little, I've got a Big Shot, just take, let me grab it, your Stanley knife, draw your square shape there, cut it out with this on a piece of paper, and lift it out. All right, the way you do that is I cut a cross in the middle. It enables me just to slit one piece out, and that gives me, I'm able to use my scissors then and do that. Okay, there are many ways to do these things, so don't be hung up on a piece of equipment you don't have. Okay, I haven't had my die cut. I've only had it about a year and a bit. I didn't have one before. Right, there we go. So that's what I've done for the front. Now the paper I've used here is from Amity Bloom. I'm using kits that I have. This is, what did I say? This one was called French Wallpaper Ephemera. Quite an old kit, but it's still in the inner shop. I looked. So that's that one. And I love this. I use this quite often. Then what I've done is I have taken some pages from this kit, which is called Pretty Pages. All right, now you've got some white bits on the end here because this is a A4 piece of paper, and this design is the US letter, but that's fine. I just need to cut those off. Right, so that will be the inside of our pocket, and on the other side I have just printed another one of these, and I think this is also French ephemera or something like that. Okay, so these are in her shop. I'll have the links there if you're interested. Then what I did was taken one of her wallpaper kits, and I'll put that one down there. So there's that. And I've put my own kit, which is part of this kit here, which is part of my tea stained avocado and lace, and I use this a lot. I also use this to back my tags. All right, so that's what I do with that. Great backing page and useful for many things. All right, so we've got Amity Bloom. You want one that's printed like that. This is going to form the base of your envelope, and on the other side I've just printed that because a lot of it you're not going to see. So that's the first piece. This is just a kit I will have in my shop, so I'll put that aside. And then the other piece you need for this is that on the one side and this on the other. Okay, so just so that you know, the length of this print here is 27.5 centimeters, and I think that's 11 inches. Let's just make sure. 10 3/4 inches across, and this way is 8 1/4, I think. Yeah, 8 1/4 that way, which is 21 centimeters. All right, so that's what we're going to use there. Okay, so we're going to use these straight away. I'm going to put the tag bit over there, and we can take all of this and move that out the way as well. All right, so let's put that up there. Right, the first thing we're going to do is we'll put that one aside. Let's use this one here. I'll put that over there, and then what you want to grab hold of is my envelope template, and you know I use these a lot. I really do. Okay, so we want to now place this onto our piece of paper and cut that out. So you'll want a pencil. Let me grab it. All right, so you want a pencil. I'm just deciding now where I want to put this, and I'm just looking at what I did before. I think it was this way. Think. Right, so it must have been like this, and I think I moved it down because I wanted this blank space to be where I put my little die thing, and that was on the back. So we'll do the same pretty much. Yeah, so I'm going to just move it down a bit like that. Okay, so place it where you want it. Let's just see if I move that further that way. We're going to try it this way. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'll move that up a bit so we've done it a cut there, and I've got that lined up. So now this is the joy of templates. You just go and you draw around the template. My template is made out of card, quite thick card, and then it just enables me just to draw around this, and you've always then able to make your own envelope, which is just amazing, and it makes life so much easier. All right, so you can put your template aside there and the pencil aside, and now what I'm going to do is just cut that out. So I will do that really quickly. Okay guys, so I have cut that out now. As you can see, I've got these two little bits here which end up going into my little scrap box, and this piece here I actually used as a base to cut out some of the tags and that I was making a little earlier over there, so you can see the edges. All right, so hang on to that. You'll use that piece as well. Right, so we've got that. Now what I did there was just to round these little corners quickly. Now some of these you're not able to use a punch with, a rounding punch, so these straight sided corners I can do that. So like that. So we've got that done, and now what we want to do is quickly just make the fold lines here. So I'll probably speed this bit up, so all it is matching up the lines. So let's turn it over. So let's just make sure everything's right how we want it, and it pretty much is. Just want to give this a little bit of a trim here. I think I've just got this a bit. That's better. Okay. Right. So I'm all ready with that. Now, what we can do is, you're most welcome to go and distress that, and I probably will do towards the end. Okay, now for the lighter papers, I tend to like to use my Distress Ink Antique Linen because it's not so dark on these very light pages. I find that the Vintage Photo one is slightly too dark, and I just want a suggestion of distress, not a dark color. All right, so I do use my slightly lighter one on here. Okay, so there we have our envelope ready. Now what we want to do is, this is the front of it. We want to find a spot, and I'm going to do it on this side this time. we want to put our die cut over here. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I wonder if I should try it this way. I think what I'll do is, for the benefit of people that don't have a die cut machine, I'm going to speed this up, but just have a look and see how I go about doing this without a die cut. All right, so it's just a case of you can get yourself a template. So this is the one I had from earlier. So if I turn that over like that and I put this over here, so let's see, say like this, a little bit like, yeah, I think like that. I'm going to hold that shape there, and I'm going to just, with my pencil, I'm going to just draw around it. Okay, you can't go wrong with templates. I have templates for everything, and you know, you just can't go wrong with them. Use a pencil if you're scared that you are going to make a mess, or do it on the underside. That would probably be better. All right, so now I did have a lady who cut herself really badly. She let me know. Be mindful of this tool. It is very sharp. All right, the way I would go about this is, first of all, to cut along the edges. So you want to just cut along the edges and be very careful with that. So just do that like that. Okay, now I'm just holding this, and go slowly and softly. That's my advice to you here. Slowly and softly. All right. So just hold that there, and slowly and softly is what we're doing. Right, now what you want to do is you want to follow the line with this slowly, and just maneuver the knife as you go. Now if it's not perfect, that doesn't matter. You can always trim it up with the scissors when you're done. So I'm just going to, following my pencil line ever so slowly. All right, so there we go, we've got that one loose, and again I'm just following the line. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, now this is easily done. To make a shape like this, I'll tell you now when I'm focused. Cut a square, whichever size you like. I'll tell you the size of this one just so that you know. This one is 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimeters. So cut a square. Then just go and take something like this and round off the edges. Draw around it like that, so you got consistency. Then you've got a little template for yourself, and you can use that. Now look at that. That looks just the business. Looks no different to what I've just done. Okay, now just on one spot here, I wanted just to neaten this one up a bit with my scissors. And there we go. Perfect job. All right, you don't need to have a die cut machine to do most of these things. It just makes it quicker and easier, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Hang on to that. You could always make that into a little tag. All right, so we'll put that aside. Right, so this is my one from the other day. Okay, right, so we at this point. What you want to do now is we want to cover that with either some vellum, or I used acetate because it's clearer. So I've got a little piece of acetate here, which is slightly bigger than my opening. So I'm going to turn that upside down. I'm going to take my glue. I'm not putting loads on because I am going to sew around it. Now, if you are not going to sew around it because you don't have a machine or whatever the reason, then make sure that you do put on enough glue just to hold it in place. All right, so we're going to just stick that down like that. Okay, we're getting there. There we go. Look how far we've come already. Okay, now I will dust off the particles when I've finished there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around that a few times, what we call messy stitching with my machine, but it's not a requirement. It's just for effect. And I'll see you guys shortly. Okay everyone, so I'm back. You can see I've just stitched around there 3 times, just a bit of messy stitching, but as I say, it's not a necessity. Okay, so I have done that, and I've given it a bit of a distress around the edges there. All right, so there we go. Right, I'm quite happy with that now. So what we're going to do is just put this aside for a moment. We'll stand it over there, and now what we want to do is we want to get on to this middle bit like this over here. All right, so we're going to get this middle bit ready and working. So what I want to do first of all is just trim off these sides here quickly, which I could have done already, but let's do that. Okay, so that's easily done. You want to do that quickly. This is preferable to print on both sides. It's not a trick to print on both sides of the paper. Just be very mindful of which side your printer prints, and just then drop it the same way and feed it back into your printer. Right, so it's just printing on both sides. It's not a special tool or something that you need. Okay, so we've got this on the one side, we've got that on the other side, and that one wasn't quite right, so I'm just going to take a little sliver off there. Okay, and there we have it. Right, now what I want to do is I want to fold up this section here, and I'm going to just give you a measurement here. You want to fold that up about 2 1/4 inches. So the easiest way to do this is to take this like that and check where the 2 seams are in your envelope, and fold it up just 1/8 of an inch on either side of the width of your envelope like that. And then once you've got that, you can line that up quickly, and then you can fold that straight across. All right, now before you press it down really hard, just make sure that you've got the same. It's going to be easier to measure it, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 6 inches more or less. Okay, like that. And then I always like to take my bone folder and run that across there like that. All right, so there we go. Now what we want to do is we want to divide this into 3. So I think it was 3 1/2 that I did. All right, so again, take your envelope, get an idea there, and you want to just make a mark with something. I'm going to use my bone folder, but pretty much you're dividing this into 3. Okay, and I think it was 3 1/2 on each. So if I take it into centimeters, it's easier to divide. You're looking at about 9, 9, 9 and 9. The middle one can be slightly more. All right, so divide that up like that. So let's just take this one here, because that's easy to do. It's easy. So we'll just make a little mark over there, and this one over there, and I'm pretty sure, I'm going to check now, sure it's about 9. Yeah, it's just over 9 and a hair's breadth. Right, so if you take 9 centimeters there, 9 centimeters there, you're left with just slightly more than 9 centimeters in the middle. All right, so that in inches is 3 1/2. That's what I thought, 3 1/2, and then you're left with just slightly more than 3 1/2 in the middle. Okay, so we are going to line this up like that. We are going to then find this, and we're going to just run our bone folder down like that, and then we're going to do the same on this side as well, because we've got to fold lines. All right, So let's just fold that over like that. Now if you don't have a bone folder, use the back of a butter knife, it works just as well. Alright, you can open this up if it's easier. And just fold that over like that, meet up those edges and the bottom edges, and it'll just do its thing. Right, and then do the same on the other side. So just bring that over. Like that. Now it won't be exactly the same size, and you don't want it exactly the same because you don't want this edge here to catch into this edge here. Alright, so you can see it's just slightly wider, but that's okay. You don't mind that. Alright, so go like that, line those up, take your bone folder and fold it like that. Right, we've got our lines now. Now we can bring this bit back again. And we can go like that. Right, so we've got our little insert with our little pockets. And it's going to fold like that, and it's going to fold like that. Right, so that's perfect. Now, the crux of the matter is this going to fit in here. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. So let's just make sure that we go like that. Alright, that's the point you want to get to, where everything is in fact fitting like snug in there. Alright, so there we know it's the right size, so we can go on now and breathe a big sigh of relief. Alright, so what I want to do now is, if you're going to have glue, that's fine. You can glue these middle bits like this. So I'll show you. Glue on the fold line only, up to the top, and again over here, just like that. And you're then able to stick those down, just like that. Alright. What I will do is now, you can do the same with these edges of course as well, but what I'm going to do is I am going to just give this a big stitch right round, purely for decorative purposes, and I will just distress the edge as well ever so lightly. Alright, so I will be back with you in a second. Okay guys, so here we have it. I've just stitched around the edges here, as you can see. I just like the effects of it, and I like my sewing. So we've got our little pockets in here now, and we've got that like that. Alright, so what we want to do now is turn this onto this side. This is your middle panel now, so the one over here. Right, close that all up. Now this is the bit that's going to show through there like that. So what I want to do is I want to put a butterfly on there. Right, so I have got this little pink butterfly. People ask me where I get the butterflies. This butterfly comes from Pinterest, and it's on my what you call it, my pin. I've got a butterfly board there. Alright, so some of these butterflies are there, and they're able to be used for personal use or whatever. So go and have a look there. Alright, so I'm going to just put some of my little art glitter glue on the butterfly, and I do love pink butterflies, and I have sort of taken a guess of where this needs to be, so I know it's pretty much about there. But all you need to do with that is check before you put it on. So I've just looked at, it was easy with this because of where the different patterns were. Alright, so that's what I'm putting on there. And now I'm able to stick this bit down. So have that at the top like that. What you want to do now is run some glue. Now don't go too close to the edge, and you won't need to, but you want to make sure that you get this stuck down. So make sure you do put glue around here, and then of course on the bottom bit as well. Okay, so we'll have that like that. Now we're ready to put this in place, and I hold up the top one just so that I can see that I haven't gone too far, and the side one and the other side one. I'm just centralizing it now. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's all right and that's all right, and it pretty much is. So okay, let's hope I've got that in the right spot. Looks like it. It looks like it. All right, so now we're able to open up our pocket like that, and it makes a beautiful gift. This a lovely happy mail gift for somebody. It's not, doesn't take too long to make it all. And there we have our butterfly, which I really should have put the other way around, bearing in mind my flap is over there. All right, but never mind. The way it goes into your journal is that way anyway. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our butterfly the right way up this time, so I just had to fix that. That was bugging me. All right, so we've got that all in place. So when we open this up now, we've got our little pockets here, and they are all ready to be decorated. So let's start with that quickly. Not too many decorations here, but I do just want to put a couple of things on here. So the first thing I did was I grabbed a couple of my scraps, so these small scraps that I keep in the top there, and I just want to put in a couple of bits here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick down this little pink scrap that I've got, because it's like really soft colors, so choose some soft tones if you're following along with this sort of color palette. And I'm going to just stick that down over there like that, a little bit over, I think. Yeah, and then just a little turquoisey one as well. And I do love these soft pastel shades, I really do. It's just me, and you know, spring's coming, I keep telling myself, so we do want to you know, have the soft shades. Got a little butterfly again. You can find this on Pinterest. My Pinterest links, along with all the other links, ladies. Some of you still ask me questions and about the kits I use and stuff. It is all in the description box. You just have to click on the arrowhead below the video and you will find all that information there. All right. Right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to grab my sheet of paper. So let me see over here. I wanted to put a little sentiment, and I'm looking for just breathe. That's what I had. So I'm just taking that out there. And I have spaced these pretty wide apart so that it's easy to do this without breaking the one above it. So, you know, I've got like these little words and sentiments that are repetitive, but they're the ones I like to use. So all I do then is give it a little bit of a, just on the edges. And then I'm going to just stick that down here. I think that's a bit long over there. Let's see how this looks now. Yeah, that's where I want it. So we'll put that on over here. And I just love having these little words and things on my tags. It just reminds me of positive affirmations, positive thoughts all the time. All right, so that just finishes that off there. Now I'm not going to put a little pearl on his body, because I don't want to make it bumpy. So I've also kept my tag toppings, excuse me, pretty flat as well. Right, now I want to come to the other side quickly. I've got one of Tracy Fox's little tea cards. I'm going to stick that down over here. And again, just taking a little bit of book page that I have, just taking a scrap of it, like this. Not a big piece, just a little piece. And I'm going to just put that like that. Okay, so nothing fancy, really simple here. That's why I love scraps. You must keep your scraps. I've got lots to do with them for you. Lots and lots. All right, so don't throw the scraps out. I've got another great idea that I've got for scraps, and I'll bring that up in probably in another video, my next video, of what I've been doing with them. Okay, so we've got those down there as well. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do with the inside of these pockets now. Now what I did was, again, using scraps and the pieces that I was talking about left over from this, I made a basis for tags. So I did a couple of them because I did them for 2 sets. Using the scraps, and of course no digitals, these are just from books. All of them are from books. And I have just made these tags. Use little scraps of paper just to make a little tab at the top there. Back them onto recycled card, or of course then I cut out some of these are the remainder left over from what I used for the first one, and I because this is all quite thin paper, I backed them onto the same backing as I had here. So that's my digital. Great for that because you can still write on that. Now before somebody asks me, I know it's going to happen, I've used 160 GSM paper for this. I use 160 and 120 most of all. So 160 GSM is double your copyweight paper thickness. I don't ever use copyweight paper because I just find that if you're going to take time and make something for your journal, you don't want it to risk tearing, so I don't use copier paper. I use double the thickness, which is 160 GSM, or in pound weight, 60 pound weight. All right, so just so that you know that. So this is 160, everything here. So is this, and I've backed it onto 160, so effectively you've got double that, and it's nice and sturdy. And you can see I've done it with a really soft distress ink there, so it does really look like it's antique. Okay, so we're just going to pop these into different folders here. I think I'm going to put that one in there, and we'll just put that one in there like that. And then we want to just marry it up with a different tag on each one of these. So let's put the bigger one over there, and then this one over here like that. All right, so we've got a couple of tags in there as well. Right, so we've got that filled up. You want to then just fold that down. Was it this way, or I think it's that way. All right, so that already makes it a little bit more bulky. And then you want to just fold your flaps over like that, and then the top one over there. All right. Now, the way I've kept this closed on this occasion is I use my little paper clip, but there's just a couple of things I want to just finish on the outside here before we finish off. So the first thing is I've taken a tiny tag. You can just cut this out and make it out of card, and I've just put a tiny little scrap on there and one of my words on there. All right, so I will be sticking that just on the edge like that. And then this will slide over the top. This paper clip keeps my envelope closed. All right, so let's do that now. Let's stick that down. So I have that there, and I have that. It was leaning over a bit, which I quite liked. And this goes this way, sorry. So yeah, let's just stick that over there like that. So it's amazing what you can do with scraps, guys, so hang on to them. I mean, all of this was pretty much, except the word, was a scrap. So I just like this to come over into the window a little bit. I quite like the look of that. All right, so that's that like this. And then it's about slide. I'm going to show you how I made this. So you just tuck in your flaps like that, have this over like that, and that means you can open it really readily, and that's going to slide off and cover that like that. All right, so one other thing to do, and that is I had this little stamp and I thought it looked really cute over there. You don't have to put that on. I thought it just, don't know, do you think it should be on there or shouldn't be on there? we're putting it on. I don't want to think about it too much because I do overthink things. I really do. So there we go. Okay, so we'll just stick that over there. And there's our little exciting envelope number 1. All right, so very quickly, what I've done is I've taken a little piece of doily. I've put a couple of my fabric scraps, as you can see, put a button on the top and just sewn through them, because anything I trim off my sari ribbon, I keep it all. So there we go, that's what I've got there. Now what I do is paper clip 2 circles that I've cut out from scraps. All right, so it's just paper. This is one of these are going to, let's use the Fabri-Tac or the 3-in-1. So we're going to put this, let's just get this right. Okay, so we want to take this like this and get that up to the top like that. All right, and then we're going to put some Fabri-Tac on here like that. Okay, get quite a lot around the metal bits and then stick the other one on top. Okay, now you've got the base for sticking any embellishment on top there. All right, so again, use your Fabri-Tac because we're going to stick fabric on now. So you've got that there. Now you're ready to stick this on top. Okay, and then you just press it down. Press, press, press. And that's all there is to it. And that's a little paper clip. Now when that's dry, it's going to slide perfectly over your little goodie here. All right, so that's all it is, guys. That's all it is. So just to take one of these little tags that I have, look how cute that is. All right, so that's ready to go for when it's when I need to use it again. All right, and that's all I did. Not too arduous. I think next week's one's going to be busier. I'll have to get my act ready together and have it all sorted. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing time with me today. We've got another one of these. And what did I do with the top? Oh, here it is. Right, so you're ready to put that into your folder like that, along with your details. So all the details for your envelope go in there, or you can write it right on this paper here. That's my name. I'm labeling them all. It looked a bit spare without the label. So there we have our very first envelope, and these would make great gifts. So a great addition to any journal, really. All right, so if you're wanting any of the bits I've talked about today, look in the description box, the little arrowhead, little V arrowhead that you can click on, and a whole load of information comes out there. Go and look for any of these links if you're wanting to know where I got the papers from. If you're wanting to know where I get any of my tools from, I buy everything from Amazon because we're in lockdown and I've always been an Amazon buyer. They are the most reasonable on the whole. I'll have the links for my Amazon favorite tools in the bottom as well. So just scroll down, you'll get all the information there. Along with the links for kits, links for these various bits I've talked about, and anything else you want to know. If you want my Etsy store, Pinterest account, or anything for butterflies, go and have a look there. The links are down at the bottom as well. Thank you always, as always, for sharing all your thoughts and bits of your life with me in the comments. I do appreciate it, and I love reading your comments and getting back to you. So let me know what you think about this, and if you're excited to do the next one, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye bye.